It's time to ditch the New Year's resolution rut and become a runner for life. Auto, I forgot. Hey runners, it's Running Professor here. It's a new year and that means a fresh start and a whole lot of ambitious resolutions. We're almost done with the first month, so let's be honest. How many of those resolutions actually stuck? Especially when it comes to running, it's easy to get caught up in those big exciting goals like run a marathon or finally break that PR. But if that's all you focus on, then you're kind of setting yourself up for some disappointment. Today, I'm going to show you how to set smart running goals that will actually help you achieve those big dreams. But here's the thing. Before you even think about that marathon or that PR, you need to take an honest look at where you're starting from, and a good place to begin is with the physical activity guidelines. For adults, the cardio recommendation is 150 minutes of moderate activity or 75 minutes of vigorous activity per week. But here's the often overlooked part. Strength training 2 or more days a week targeting all major muscle groups. This is especially important if you've been sedentary. Running is a high impact activity. Every step you take puts tremendous force on your legs with peak ground reaction forces ranging anywhere from 2 to 3 times your body weight. That means every step you take, you need to withstand about 2 to 3 times your weight and a little more if you're a heel striker. Let's break it down. Imagine a 250-pound person who decides to pick up running. We'll call him Johnny. At a 2-time ground reaction force, every step Johnny takes puts about 500 pounds of force on each leg. Now let's say Johnny is running the 12-minute mile pace, which means he's going to take about 1,950 steps per mile. Each leg will step half of that, so we have 975 steps per leg. Now we take that 500 pounds of force and multiply it by 975 steps, and we get 487,500 pounds of force, or over 200 tons of pressure accumulated over 1 mile per leg. And then Johnny wonders why his legs feel like they were run over a truck by the next day. So you can see why strength training is essential to prepare your body for that kind of impact. Without it, you're setting yourself up for injury. Remember this: get strong to run, don't run to get strong. If you're new to running, or if it's been a while, don't feel pressured to jump right into intense training. Start with walking. We've all heard the old proverb, walk before you run. We should take this advice literally. Aim for 30 minutes of brisk walking 5 days a week, and this will fulfill the physical activity guidelines for moderate aerobic activity and builds a solid foundation. While you're building that walking base, start incorporating strength training. Remember, get strong to run, don't run to get strong. I will be releasing content on strength training for runners soon, so do stay tuned for that. For those of you who are seasoned runners, it's time to take a look back and dust off that training log. Whether it's a physical log or digital like Strava, I want you to analyze your total training time from last year. Not just distance, but the actual hours you invested. We'll dive into time-based training versus distance-based training in another video, but for now, focus on those hours, and now we need to have an honesty hour. Based on last year's training hours, your current fitness level, and your life commitments, ask yourself, can I realistically train more this year, the same, or do I need to cut back? This honest reflection might influence your performance goals, but that's okay. It's better to set achievable goals than to burn out chasing something unrealistic. You can safely increase your total year hours by 5 to 20% depending on your current fitness level and last year's training hours. Safest place to be is that 10% across the board. For me, I trained roughly 165 hours last year, not counting strength training, and before coming into this year, I was at a pretty solid fitness level, so I went for that 20% increase because there wasn't that many hours to begin with, so that's giving me a goal of 200 hours for the year. Based on my current trend of running 6 days a week, anywhere from 5 to 65 minutes a day, I'm pretty on par with it, and we have been recovering pretty well each day. To all you strength training enthusiasts out there who are now venturing into the world of running, awesome. You've got a great foundation, but don't underestimate the demands of running. Even if you can deadlift 3 times your body weight, which is very impressive, running is a different beast. It's high impact, but more importantly for you, it's repetitive. So start gradually and prioritize proper form. Keep up the strength training, but start incorporating running progressively. And stay tuned for a video on how to program your training days. Should you lift first or run first? My fellow distance runners, I know you love logging those miles, but don't neglect strength training. It is a game changer for injury prevention, efficiency, and overall performance. I encourage you to incorporate some strength process goals, starting with 2 days a week, focusing on exercises that target the muscles used in running, glutes, hamstrings, quads, and get some upper body work in there too. Strong core and back to keep you running tall. You are not going to bulk, trust me. The I used to be trap. It's awesome that you used to be a running superstar back in the day, but guess what? Our bodies change. If you've been active for a while, you can't expect to pick up where you left off. So instead of dwelling on the past, focus on the last 4 weeks. This is our 4-week reality check. Have you been running consistently? What's your current mileage? How do you feel during your runs? Have you been doing any strength training? This honest self-reflection and self-assessment is crucial for setting achievable goals and avoiding injury. Here's the science. Just 4 weeks of inactivity can significantly decrease your aerobic capacity. Blood volume would decline via a drop in both plasma and hematocrit, or the concentration of red blood cells that hold the oxygen. Ultimately, this will reduce cardiac output, or the amount of blood that your heart can pump in 1 minute. With decreased cardiac output, we have less oxygen available or less oxygen delivery to reach your muscles. So your heart rate increases to compensate for this demand of oxygen. And this is going to raise your rate of perceived exertion across the board in not only exercise, but activities of daily living. These declines in your aerobic energy system are also accompanied by reduced muscle glycogen storage, making your body less efficient at fueling muscles during exercise. This then starts to shift some of that burden to your anaerobic system, causing you to reach that lactate threshold sooner, or more colloquially, it's going to make you fatigue sooner. If we continue to remain inactive, capillary density drops, meaning it's harder for oxygen to reach skeletal muscle, as does mitochondrial density, meaning we have to rely on anaerobic means of generating ATP to run. Then there's the muscular losses or atrophy that cause a drop in peak power output and efficiency and economy. And the size of the heart and chamber size of the left ventricle decreases, meaning even your heart becomes weak and inefficient. Eventually, with a sufficient decrease in training stimulus, your body almost completely reverts to an untrained state, back to square one, if you will. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is a runner's body. Start small and gradually build up. If the physical activity guidelines seem daunting, start with just 5 minutes of walking a day. Gradually increase your duration and frequency until you reach those 150 minutes per week and 2 days of strength training. The key is to establish healthy habits that will last. This isn't a TikTok trend. We're in this for the long haul, everybody. SMART goals are your secret weapon. They're specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. When creating your SMART running goals, outcome goals are usually pretty easy to set. These are the big goals you want to hit. For example, I want to run a marathon in December. It's specific. You want to run a marathon that's 26.2 miles, which is also measurable. You're giving yourself a year to do it, which is achievable, absolutely. And well, your time constraint is the year. Now the relevant part. That's where you need to hone in and figure out, why do you want to do this? It may start superficial, and that's okay. Like, I want to say that I've done a marathon. Boom, done, I did it. But ideally, this relevance is something more intrinsic. I want to improve my fitness and health to promote longevity, because in order to get through that marathon, you're going to need to dial in your sleep, your eating habits, hydration, your workouts. This is a commitment. I mean, who wants to go into a marathon feeling underprepared and hurting for 26.2 miles? Or maybe your goal is hitting a specific time in a 5K, or like me, the mile. Whatever that big goal is, set it. That's what we're striving for. But how do we get there? Where's the urgency? If it's a goal for the end of the year, you're probably thinking, nah, I got time. That's where process goals make the difference. I recommend that you set at least 3 process goals for each outcome goal you set, and I would stick to no more than 3 outcome goals. Remember, we're looking for sustainability here. We only have so much bandwidth and don't want to overload with so many goals, whether it's an outcome or process. Again, Start small and build up. Process goals focus on the actions you take to reach your outcome goal. They're all about building consistency and developing good habits in a progressive, sustainable, and healthy way. Break down your year into smaller chunks. Set process goals for each quarter, each month, or even each week. What this does, it's going to keep you focused and allows you to adjust your plan as needed. For example, to run that marathon in December, for the first 3 months, you're going to walk or run 1 time a week, and you're going to strength train twice a week. And every month, you're going to add 1 additional day of running. Then after those first 3 months, you'll incorporate a 4th day of walking or running. Then the 3 months after that, maybe a 3rd day of strength training. By the time December rolls around, you'll be ready, and you didn't have to hit it hard right out the gate, nor are you putting it off until the last second, or now you're panicking, and then you try to condense an entire year's worth of training into 3 months, which is typically the minimum amount of time to train for a marathon for experienced individuals. And don't feel discouraged if you miss a day or two. Life happens. As humans, we're notorious for succumbing to the all or nothing mentality. It's a new year. I'm going to run every day. I'm going to go to the gym before work. I'm going to get 8 hours of sleep. I'm not going to be drinking during the week. I'm going to have a salad for dinner every night. And then you mess up one day and you think, well, the hell with it. That was a bust. Screw 2025. That wasn't my year. 2026 is going to be my year. Stop that. Be kind to yourself. Be firm and hold yourself accountable. But it's okay to have an off day, an off week, even a month. We've all been there. This is part of the process. Respect it. Stay the course. Every time you do achieve a process goal, celebrate that victory. It reinforces the positive habits and keeps you motivated on the journey to your ultimate goal. You can also set thresholds. I need to complete at least 75% of my process goal to mark it successful, and then I'm going to go buy myself some new shoes, new shorts, whatever the case may be. Keep it fun and rewarding. So remember, while that big shiny outcome goal is awesome, it's the smart process goal that will get you there. Set yourself up for success by focusing on the consistency, building good habits, and celebrating those small wins along the way. And remember, be kind to yourself. Acknowledge where you are today, set realistic goals, and celebrate every step of your running journey. What are your running resolutions for this year? It's okay if you need to revise them. Maybe your resolution starts the beginning of next month. Either way, share your SMART goals in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more tips to help you crush your running goals. And in the meantime, always remember, respect the process, stay the course, and run happy.